You know how it goes. Just when you think things might start falling apart, something big happens that changes the whole conversation. And if you're a Browns fan, this is exactly the kind of news that can make you feel a whole lot better about where this team is heading. There's a lot to break down here, because this move says much more than people realize. Before we jump in, smash that like button if you bleed brown and orange, and drop "Here we go, Brownies" in the comments so the dog pound knows you're watching. Denzel Ward is not going anywhere, and for Cleveland Browns fans, that might be the biggest victory of the offseason. The Browns have reached an agreement on a new 2-year contract extension with the 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback worth $62.2 million, including a staggering $52.3 million guaranteed. Once again, Ward becomes the highest-paid defensive back in NFL history, a statement that says everything about how the organization values its franchise cornerback. This move is about much more than money. It sends a message that despite all the changes surrounding the roster, the Browns are determined to keep one of the true cornerstones of their defense in Cleveland. Ward was already under contract through the 2028 season, but this extension now keeps him with the team through 2030, giving both sides long-term security and stability. The timing of this deal is impossible to ignore. With Myles Garrett no longer part of the roster, many fans were wondering what direction the Browns would take. Losing another elite defender after such a significant departure would have left a massive hole in a unit that was among the league's best. Instead, Cleveland made it clear that Denzel Ward remains one of the faces of the franchise and someone they refuse to let slip away. Ward has built one of the most consistent resumes of any cornerback in football. Critics often point to injuries that have caused him to miss time over the years, but when he is on the field, opposing quarterbacks know exactly what they're dealing with. He has earned 5 Pro Bowl selections for a reason. Teams frequently avoid throwing in his direction because challenging him carries enormous risk. That level of respect isn't created by reputation alone. It comes from years of shutting down elite receivers week after week. One of the best examples comes inside the AFC North. Facing explosive receiving duos is never easy, but Ward has repeatedly been one of the biggest reasons Cleveland has been able to slow down dangerous passing attacks. His ability to match up one-on-one against top receivers gives the Browns flexibility that very few defenses possess. That kind of player isn't easy to replace, regardless of how much cap space a team might have. At 29 years old, Ward continues to perform at an elite level, and the Browns clearly believe he has plenty left to offer. Rather than waiting for uncertainty to grow, they chose to reward one of their most dependable veterans while reinforcing the identity of a defense that still expects to compete at a high level. The financial commitment reflects that confidence, but perhaps even more importantly, it reflects mutual commitment. There is another aspect of this story that deserves attention. In today's NFL, it's common to see star players chase larger markets, championship opportunities, or simply the next massive payday somewhere else. Ward's situation feels different. Throughout his career, he has consistently expressed how much Cleveland means to him. Remaining with the Browns wasn't simply about securing another contract. It was about staying with the city and the organization he has proudly represented since entering the league as the 4th overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. That loyalty has become increasingly rare across professional sports. Fans often watch their favorite stars leave in pursuit of different opportunities, making long-term commitments harder to find. Ward's extension stands as a reminder that some players still believe in building something where they started. For Browns supporters, that's every bit as meaningful as the numbers attached to the contract. Of course, this extension also raises bigger questions about what comes next. If Cleveland is determined to preserve one of the NFL's strongest secondaries, Could this deal be only the first domino? There is already speculation about another important defensive leader entering the final year of his contract. And keeping this core together may be essential if the Browns want their defense to remain among the league's elite, despite the roster changes elsewhere. With Denzel Ward now locked in through 2030, the Browns have made their priorities crystal clear. The franchise is betting that its shutdown corner remains one of the most valuable players on the roster, and they're paying him accordingly. The biggest question now is whether this move marks the beginning of another wave of defensive extensions, or if this will stand alone as Cleveland's biggest statement of the offseason. What do you think about the Browns making Denzel Ward the highest-paid defensive back in NFL history again? And was this the right decision for the future of the franchise? The next question naturally becomes whether the Browns should stop with Denzel Ward or continue investing in the backbone of their secondary. If the front office follows the same philosophy that led to this extension, Grant Delpit appears to be the next player in line. As he enters the final year of his current 3-year contract, the discussion surrounding his future is only becoming louder. During the offseason, Delpit was present around the team but was not participating in certain activities, and there was no definitive explanation given regarding whether his absence was injury-related. That has only fueled speculation that another contract negotiation could be on the horizon. From Cleveland's perspective, the logic is easy to understand. The Browns have spent years building one of the league's most respected pass defenses, and keeping continuity in the secondary is one of the biggest reasons why. Ward and Delpit have developed into leaders of that unit, providing experience, communication, and playmaking ability that simply cannot be replaced overnight. Breaking up that partnership would create more questions than answers, especially after the changes the defense has already experienced. There is always debate whenever veteran players approach another payday. Some fans immediately point to age and argue that teams should prioritize younger talent above everything else. Youth certainly matters in today's NFL, but championships are not won with rookies alone. Every successful roster needs proven veterans who understand how to prepare, how to lead inside the locker room, and how to help younger players develop into professionals. Cleveland already has promising young talent, but surrounding those players with experienced stars remains just as important. That is exactly why Ward's extension feels so significant. His value goes beyond interceptions, pass breakups, or Pro Bowl appearances. He gives the Browns a true shutdown corner capable of matching up against the best receivers in football every single week. When a defense has that luxury, the entire scheme becomes more flexible. Defensive coordinators can be more aggressive with blitz packages, safeties have greater freedom, and opposing quarterbacks are forced to rethink their progressions before the ball is even snapped. Imagine the current cornerback room without Denzel Ward. Suddenly, a position that already faces questions about depth becomes one of the biggest concerns on the entire roster. Instead of building around a proven all-pro caliber talent, the Browns would be relying on far less experienced options to carry one of the most demanding positions in the NFL. That's a gamble the organization clearly had no interest in taking. The same argument can be made at safety. Removing Grant Delpit from the equation would leave another major hole in a secondary that performed at an extremely high level last season. While replacing elite pass rushers or star cornerbacks is difficult enough, rebuilding an entire defensive backfield at once is rarely a recipe for sustained success. Cleveland appears to understand that maintaining stability on the back end gives the defense its best chance to remain among the NFL's top units. Of course, paying premium players at premium positions is never inexpensive. Cornerback has become one of the most valuable positions in football, and recent contracts around the league have continued to push that market higher. The Browns knew exactly what it would cost to keep Ward, but they also understood what losing him would mean. When you already have a player widely viewed as one of the NFL's top cornerbacks, and he wants to stay with your franchise? Sometimes the smartest decision is not to overcomplicate the situation. By extending Ward through 2030, Cleveland has made a commitment not only to one player, but to the identity of its defense. Even with roster turnover and new faces joining the team, the Browns are signaling that they still expect this defense to be one of the strengths of the organization. That belief starts with keeping elite talent in place, and few players fit that description better than Denzel Ward. Now the attention shifts toward the rest of the roster. Will the Browns continue locking up their defensive leaders, or will Ward's extension stand as the defining move? One thing is certain. Cleveland fans now know their shutdown corner will continue wearing orange and brown for years to come. And that gives this franchise a proven foundation to build around as it looks toward the future. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and don't miss the next update because that's where you'll get the latest Cleveland Browns news first. And before you go, click the video that's on your screen now to stay up to date with everything happening around the Browns.